Ever wonder why some people seem to secretly dislike you, even when you've done nothing wrong? It's a frustrating and puzzling feeling, one that many of us have experienced at some point in our lives. You might be kind, respectful, and well-meaning, yet still, there are people who harbor hidden animosity towards you. It can be confusing, especially when you're unsure why someone might dislike you without an obvious reason. This hidden animosity is often subtle and difficult to detect, but it's a reality that many people face. Whether it's in the workplace, among friends, or even in family dynamics, understanding why some individuals secretly harbor negative feelings can be elusive. You may have had moments where you thought everything was fine, only to realize that someone's actions or words suggest otherwise. It's natural to feel hurt or perplexed when confronted with this. This is where Stoicism can offer us valuable insights. The Stoic philosophers believed that much of the conflict and negativity we experience in relationships stems from our perception of events and our emotional responses to them. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others' actions or emotions, but we can control our own. By understanding why some people might harbor these negative feelings, we can navigate these situations with wisdom and composure rather than letting them affect us emotionally. In this video, we'll explore 9 surprising reasons why people may secretly dislike you. Some of these might even surprise you. We'll also discuss how Stoic principles can help you manage these situations with grace, offering you a deeper understanding of human behavior and how to respond effectively without losing your peace of mind. So let's dive in and uncover the subtle dynamics of why people may harbor hidden animosity and how Stoicism can guide you through them. Reason 1. They feel threatened by your success. One of the most common reasons people may secretly dislike you is because they feel threatened by your success. In Stoic philosophy, the focus is always on cultivating personal virtue and inner peace, rather than seeking external validation or competing with others. When someone else's achievements stand in contrast to their own perceived shortcomings, it can stir feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. People who lack confidence or self-assurance may secretly resent your success because it highlights their own insecurities. Instead of celebrating your accomplishments, they may feel overshadowed or left behind. This is particularly true in environments like the workplace, where individuals often compare their achievements to those of others. For example, you might have a colleague who resents your promotion, not because you don't deserve it, but because it makes them feel less successful in comparison. Instead of focusing on their own growth, they focus on how your success reflects their perceived lack of progress. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, warned against the destructive nature of comparison, stating, "Envy is the ulcer of the soul." When we measure our worth against others, we allow envy and resentment to take root. Stoicism teaches us that we should not seek to compete with others, but instead focus on our own virtue and growth. By doing so, we can avoid falling into the trap of comparison, which is often the root of envy. The next time you encounter someone who seems to resent your success, remember that their negative feelings likely have more to do with their own insecurities than with anything you've done. By embracing Stoic principles, you can remain unaffected by such jealousy, focusing instead on your continued personal development and virtue. Reason 2. You challenge their ego. Another reason some people may secretly dislike you is because your presence challenges their ego. The Stoics placed great value on humility and the rejection of ego-driven desires, understanding that our sense of self-worth should not come from external recognition or validation, but from our own virtuous actions. However, not everyone shares this mindset, and for some, the challenge to their inflated self-perception can create feelings of discomfort or hostility. When your actions, words, or even your mere presence highlight the flaws in someone else's inflated sense of self, it can lead them to feel threatened. People who rely heavily on their ego for self-worth may struggle to accept any criticism or challenge, no matter how subtle. For example, in a work environment, a manager who prides themselves on authority may react negatively when a colleague subtly questions their decisions. Even if the challenge is constructive, their ego might perceive it as a threat to their status, causing them to resent you. Seneca captured the destructive nature of the ego when he wrote, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. The ego, when inflated, blinds us to our own flaws and creates inner turmoil. Instead of seeking growth or accepting our imperfections, we protect our ego at all costs. This resistance to self-reflection and humility can lead to negative feelings towards those who unintentionally challenge that ego. By embracing Stoicism, we can avoid the trap of feeding our own egos and instead focus on continuous self-improvement. In doing so, we become less susceptible to the negativity of those who feel threatened by the reflection of their own insecurities. When someone reacts negatively to you, understand that it's not about you, it's about their inability to reconcile with their own ego. Reason 3. You are a mirror of their unresolved issues. Sometimes people secretly dislike you because you serve as a mirror, reflecting their own unresolved issues. Stoicism teaches that external events often reveal our internal state. What we feel and perceive in the world is often a projection of what is going on inside us. In this sense, when someone harbors unspoken animosity towards you, it may have less to do with you and more to do with their internal struggles. People often project their own insecurities, flaws, and unresolved issues onto others, and you may unwittingly become the target of this projection. For example, if someone sees you as confident and assertive, but they themselves struggle with these qualities, they might secretly resent you. Instead of facing their own limitations or fears, they choose to project those negative feelings onto you, viewing your strengths as a threat to their sense of self-worth. Consider a scenario where a colleague who lacks confidence may feel uncomfortable around someone who effortlessly speaks up in meetings. Rather than seeing your assertiveness as an admirable trait, they might view it as a reminder of their own struggles, fueling resentment. Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When we fail to confront our own issues, we may project them onto others, creating unnecessary conflict and suffering. Stoicism encourages introspection, urging us to look inward rather than blaming others for the discomfort we feel. By recognizing that others' negativity often stems from their own unresolved issues, we can choose not to take it personally, but instead approach these situations with empathy and understanding. By embodying Stoic wisdom, we can avoid being drawn into the negativity of others and instead focus on cultivating our own peace of mind. This allows us to respond to projected resentments without becoming entangled in them. Reason 4. They feel you are out of their control. Another reason some people may secretly dislike you is because they feel they cannot control or manipulate your behavior. Stoicism emphasizes mastering one's own reactions and emotions, teaching us that our true power lies in controlling how we respond to external events. People who are used to controlling those around them may resent those who refuse to conform or submit to their influence. When you maintain your independence, steadfast principles, and personal integrity, it can frustrate others who prefer to dominate or manipulate situations to their advantage. They may view your refusal to bend as a challenge to their authority, causing them to harbor negative feelings towards you. For example, a colleague who is used to managing a team by coercion or persuasion may resent someone who refuses to follow their lead without question. Your unwavering stance or your reluctance to play along with their agenda can create tension, as they feel deprived of the power they once held over others. Epictetus emphasized the importance of inner freedom, stating, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." When you refuse to be swayed by others or controlled by external forces, you reclaim your personal freedom and power. This can be intimidating to those who rely on manipulation or dominance, as it exposes their inability to control you. By embodying Stoic principles, you create an unshakable sense of autonomy. This can lead to conflict with those who thrive on control, but it also allows you to maintain peace and integrity. Rather than submitting to external pressures, you embrace your own path, which may provoke resentment in those who are not accustomed to seeing others operate with such independence. Reason 5. You don't seek their approval. Another reason why some people may secretly dislike you is because you don't seek their approval. Stoicism teaches us to find validation from within rather than relying on external sources. By focusing on cultivating inner virtues and maintaining peace of mind, we avoid becoming dependent on the opinions of others. For those who are used to being the ones who validate or influence others, your independence from their approval can feel like a direct challenge to their status or authority. People who derive their sense of self-worth from being in control of others' opinions may view your lack of need for validation as a threat. Your refusal to conform to their expectations or seek their approval might make them feel irrelevant, especially if they are accustomed to receiving attention or admiration from others. This can lead to resentment or hostility as they perceive your self-sufficiency as undermining their ability to influence or control your behavior. For example, consider a situation where a boss or mentor becomes frustrated with you because you don't seek their feedback or praise. You make decisions based on your own values and principles, not on what they think you should do. This lack of dependence on their opinion might provoke animosity as they feel diminished or disregarded. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When we seek validation from within and live according to our own virtues, we empower ourselves to remain unaffected by the judgment of others. This self-sufficiency is central to Stoicism, as it allows us to act in alignment with our own values, rather than trying to please others or conform to their expectations. By embracing this mindset, we become less vulnerable to resentment from those who thrive on controlling or validating others. Reason 6. You remind them of their own failures. Another reason some people may secretly dislike you is because you remind them of their own failures. While Stoicism teaches that failure is a valuable opportunity for growth, many people struggle to accept their shortcomings. Instead of seeing failure as a chance to learn and improve, they may harbor resentment towards those who seem to succeed, as it forces them to confront their own unacknowledged or unaddressed failures. Your success, achievements, or even your ability to stay composed through difficult situations can serve as a mirror for others, highlighting their own unmet goals or unfulfilled potential. This can be uncomfortable for those who are not ready to face their failures or who feel trapped by them. Rather than using your example as motivation to improve, they might direct their frustration inward, turning it outward as resentment towards you. For instance, imagine a person who has spent years dreaming of a career change but never takes action. When they see someone like you making progress and achieving goals, it can unintentionally force them to confront their own inaction. Instead of feeling inspired, they may feel bitterness or hostility, projecting those negative emotions onto you. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Stoics believe that failure should not be feared, but embraced as part of our growth. Every obstacle, every setback, can propel us forward if we choose to learn from it. When others haven't yet embraced this mindset, your progress may highlight the gap between where they are and where they wish they could be, stirring resentment in the process. By adopting a Stoic perspective, you can understand that others' negative reactions are often reflections of their own struggles, not of any fault of yours. Their dislike may stem not from who you are, but from the uncomfortable truths your success forces them to confront. Reason 7. You are a threat to their social status. Another reason why some people may secretly dislike you is because they perceive you as a threat to their social status. In a world obsessed with status and recognition, it's easy for people to become protective of their position in the social hierarchy. Stoicism, however, teaches us to reject the importance of external circumstances, like social status, as fleeting and ultimately unimportant to our well-being. From a Stoic perspective, external status markers, such as popularity, wealth, or power, are not the true measures of a person's worth. They are transient and beyond our control. Yet, many people still place great value on these external indicators and will resent anyone who challenges or disrupts their perceived position. If you rise in popularity or gain influence within a social circle, you might unknowingly threaten someone's place at the top, sparking feelings of hostility. For example, consider a situation where someone in your social group becomes increasingly hostile as you gain recognition or favor. They may resent the attention or respect you are receiving, feeling that it diminishes their own status or influence. Instead of seeing your success as something neutral, they perceive it as a direct threat to their own standing, causing them to react negatively. Seneca reminds us, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This Stoic wisdom teaches us that external recognition is not a true reflection of our worth, and that allowing ourselves to be controlled by the pursuit of social status only leads to unhappiness and conflict. When we detach from the need for validation and focus instead on cultivating internal virtue, we free ourselves from the competitive dynamics that breed resentment. Your disregard for the game of social status can naturally unsettle those who thrive on it, causing them to view you as a threat, when in fact you are simply living according to your own values and principles. Reason 8. You remind them of their own mortality. One reason why some people may secretly dislike you is that you remind them of their own mortality. Stoicism encourages the reflection on mortality, often referred to as memento mori. Remember that you will die. This practice is intended to inspire us to live with purpose, prioritize what truly matters, and make the most of our time. However, for many people, being reminded of the brevity of life can be uncomfortable, even unsettling. Your actions or choices may trigger a deep-seated fear of time running out for them. When someone sees you living fully or purposefully, it can highlight their own sense of unfulfilled potential, missed opportunities, or unaccomplished goals. They may become resentful, not because of what you've done, but because your life serves as a reminder of their own limitations or procrastination in facing their mortality. For example, imagine someone who has spent years talking about starting a business but never takes the leap. When they see someone like you taking risks and pursuing meaningful goals, it can evoke a sense of urgency or regret. Instead of being inspired, they may distance themselves from you to avoid confronting their own shortcomings. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This powerful reminder of our impermanence is central to Stoic philosophy. It encourages us to live intentionally, without wasting time on trivial concerns. For those who aren't yet ready to face their own mortality, Being around someone who embraces the reality of time running out can bring discomfort, leading to resentment. By living in accordance with Stoic teachings, embracing the shortness of life, and using it to guide our actions, you may unintentionally challenge others to confront their own fears about mortality, provoking negative feelings in response. Reason 9. They envy your inner peace. One final reason why some people may secretly dislike you is because they envy the inner peace you've cultivated through Stoicism. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on developing tranquility and emotional stability, regardless of the external circumstances around us. This inner peace comes from mastering our thoughts and responses instead of being swayed by the unpredictable nature of the world. However, for many, this kind of peace can seem elusive and unattainable, which may spark envy. People who are accustomed to living in emotional turmoil or reacting impulsively to every challenge may view your calm demeanor with resentment. They may feel threatened by your ability to maintain composure in situations that would typically cause stress or anger. Your emotional stability contrasts sharply with their own internal chaos, which can be difficult for them to accept. For example, imagine a colleague who becomes agitated over a difficult project deadline. While everyone else is panicking, you remain calm and methodical, sticking to your Stoic practice of controlling what's within your power and letting go of what isn't. Instead of appreciating your tranquility, they may resent it, viewing your peace as a reflection of their own inability to maintain control over their emotions. Epictetus wisely said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This teaching emphasizes that true peace comes from within and is achieved by detaching from the chaos of external events. For those who are still caught in the grip of emotional turmoil, your peace may appear unattainable, making them subconsciously resentful of your ability to navigate the world without being overwhelmed. By embracing the Stoic pursuit of inner tranquility, you may unknowingly stir feelings of envy in others who have not yet mastered the art of emotional self-control. In this video, we've explored 9 surprising reasons why people may secretly harbor negative feelings toward you, even when you've done nothing wrong. From feeling threatened by your success, to being challenged by your ego, to envying your inner peace, these hidden dynamics can often leave us feeling confused or hurt. But Stoicism provides a powerful framework for understanding and accepting these behaviors. By focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses, we can navigate these challenges with clarity and composure. Stoicism teaches us that the behaviors of others are not a reflection of our worth, but rather a manifestation of their own struggles and insecurities. By using these insights, we can develop a deeper understanding of why others act the way they do, and how to maintain our own emotional stability in the face of hidden hostility. I encourage you to apply these Stoic principles in your daily life. When faced with resentment or passive hostility, remember that these reactions are not about you. They are reflections of the other person's internal conflict. Focus on maintaining your composure, practicing empathy, and understanding that you cannot control others, only your own responses. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more content on Stoic wisdom, emotional resilience, and personal growth. There's always more to learn about mastering your emotions and living a virtuous life in alignment with your true self. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In the end, it is our ability to maintain inner peace and focus on virtue, regardless of how others behave, that truly shapes our happiness and fulfillment.